Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon to you for the next in our long-running library series, which we began in 2009. So it's high time to continue to thank all the folks at the library for putting this together. Cinderella is a fantasy of its own. Disney movies are among my favorites and have been through the years. Right now our focus is on Cinderella with the wonderful talents of Eileen Woods as the vocal for Cinderella, and of course the very great and talented Eleanor Audley, who is the most wonderful villainess, I think, in Disney animated vocal history. She also did Maleficent and Sleeping Beauty, and she was really a villain in all of these. So, not in Lucille Laverne in Snow White, but it was then the head villainess was this lady called Eleanor Audley. So I like to talk about her. Now, Eleanor Audley is the great villainess, and the third distinctive voice, and that's three things to look for. Number one, the three voices, the use of the vocals. What I think you need to know about the third one is Verna Felton. She was a lot of wonderful characters in Disney animated movies. We don't have time to go over her resume, but it includes 101 Dalmatians and so forth, and Sleeping Beauty. This one, of course, Cinderella, is her best known Disney role because she gets to sing a song in her 80-year-old voice about at that time, maybe 75. And that song is Salamagadoola means Michikaboolaroo. But the thing with Bob that does the job is Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo. You know that song perhaps, even though I'm no singer. If that didn't clear the house, we can go ahead and listen to the rest. So Verna Felton is the fairy godmother. People have said to me, why do you call that a fantasy? I said, did you ever hear of a fairy godmother? Mice being turned into coachmen, old steeds being turned into horses, whatever, all of the different things. A pumpkin being turned into a carriage, oh well, yeah, you got me. It's a fantasy, folks. Unfortunately, there is no fairy godmother. In all of these fantasies of the famous fairy tales, the hero or heroine is much put upon. Think about all of them you know, including Snow White. And certainly Cinderella loses her father, has to endure with her wicked stepmother, who only favors her two daughters. Terrible, terrible choice. So the voices of the three actors, Eileen Woods, Eleanor Audley, Verna Felton. And then, of course, the animation. Bosley Crowther of the New York Times said in 1950, well, it has been a long time since the Disney studios produced an equal to Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs in 37. At last, that film has finally arrived at the Roxy Theater in the person of Cinderella, a charming and delightful tale with just the blend of humor, pathos, love, fantasy, and all the blendings that will make this a wonderful movie for kids. Bosley Crowther was right. It was also wonderful for adults, and is one among the movies Disney was proud of, among the top 5 of all the best-selling tickets ever sold in the United States. Now, by that I mean a ticket today is worth a lot more money. You pay $5.50 or $7. In those days, you paid 50 cents. So it's not the mega blockbuster in terms of absolute dollars. It couldn't make billions when it was released in $1,000 age, but it did make a lot. And Disney made a lot of money, but also charmed people and solidified his reputation as a great storyteller. So look at the animation too. They had to convert this just entirely by gels. Every scene was hand painted. No CGI in those days, no printers, animators, a score of animators. One would celebrate and specialize in Cinderella's hair. The wonderful talents of these behind the screen, largely women, in the animation studio at Disney. And their wonderful way of making characters come to life who are after all drawn characters, and yet we knew them as real people. So all of that goes together for sort of the second thing, the animation itself, your appreciation of the vocals. And then we go, of course, to the music. The music. All of the wonderful music in Cinderella. We've already done Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo, and I'm just going to let you enjoy the remainder of the music. It's a fantasy, it's a fairy tale, but it's all done very well with the little chattering mice and Lucifer, the bad cat, Lucifer, of course, and the charming Prince Charming, and the old king, played by Taylor Holmes. All of this is so very wonderful and sweeping I think it needs no further introduction. For kids who like Frozen, and I hope a few are here today and maybe preschool, try out the earlier version, Cinderella from 1950.